What's up, guys? Welcome to another Nate's Garage video. So today we're going to be working on changing the spark plugs in my 2017 Jeep Patriot. So what this thing's been doing lately, it's been stuttering. Just kind of when you're driving, it almost feels like the car's jumping, if you will. You know, so you'll just be driving along, you just feel like a bump, bump, you know, and it does it several times. Usually tends to get worse as you're driving, actually. So after you've been driving for a little while, it seems like it starts getting worse. At first I thought it might have something to do with the transmission, but then I looked it up online, and it seems like a lot of people report kind of having that same issue because of the spark plugs, or because the spark plugs need to be changed. I do know I have not changed the spark plugs in this car since I've owned it. I haven't had it, you know, it hasn't been tuned up or anything. I mean, it's pretty much ran great ever since I've owned it, which of course hasn't been that long, you know, just a few years now. But so definitely probably is time to change them, though. From what I've found online, it seems like the spark plugs need to be changed about every 30,000 miles or so. So I definitely think I'm probably overdue to change the spark plugs. So hopefully it'll be an easy job. Got the Jeep pulled in the garage here, so we're going to crack the hood open. We'll get up under there, see what we can figure out. Again, there's a lot of YouTube videos out there that I saw kind of showing the same thing, or showing this process. But again, trying to build up a channel, just doing some more, you know, do-it-yourself stuff at home. So hopefully you guys will find the video helpful. But yeah, please subscribe, like, and let's dive into it. Well, before we dive under the hood, guys, let's take a look at the tools we're going to be using real quick. So obviously over here we've got our spark plugs. These are Autolite copper. I believe these are basically what comes in the car originally. So I'm sure there are some upgraded, you know, more expensive versions you can get. But really, with it being a 2017 model car, I mean, it shouldn't be necessary to run some super spark plug. So I just got, you know, the basic ones that'll replace the ones that it came with. Something else you'll probably need is this little gap checker right here, and this basically just lets you verify that the gap set on the spark plugs is correct. They're supposed to be set, you know, for you automatically, but again, it's still a good idea to have one of these little guys to check it. Again, they're, you know, inexpensive. Pretty much any auto parts place is going to have these, so just a little gap checker. Here's my receipt from O'Reilly's where I picked these up. I just wanted to show you guys the actual price. So the spark plugs were $2.79 each. So I had to buy 4 of those at $2.79 each. And then the gap gauge was $1.99. So yeah, so not very much at all. So we ended up getting out the door at $14.08 was our total. Took the car to a mechanic to have this done. I would estimate they would probably charge you at least, you know, probably around $100 or something, somewhere around there probably, to do just the spark plug. So you can definitely save yourself some money if you do this yourself. All right, other tools we're going to be using. I've just got a couple of flathead screwdrivers here. You know, pretty common. Most households are going to have flathead screwdrivers. Over here, I've got my socket wrench. So just a basic standard socket wrench, nothing special. This is the spark plug socket. Most tool kits will have one of these. You notice that actually it's a 5/8 and it says CRV. And what's cool about these is it actually has a little rubber thing inside of there. So basically when it goes onto the spark plug, it holds onto it. You know, so that way when you're trying to get the spark plug out, it's basically going to stay stuck in the socket because it has that little rubber thing in there. Over here we've got some extensions for our socket wrench. From the videos I've seen, it looks like the spark plugs are kind of a little ways down in the, I don't know what you'd call it, whatever you'd call the top of the motor or whatever. They're a little ways down, so you probably definitely are going to need some kind of extension to be able to get all the way down to it. This is something that may not be so common. I picked up a set of these on Amazon just a little while ago. I think it was less than 20 bucks, you know, and it came with basically this size extension for all 3 different sizes of socket wrench. So for your small size, your medium size, and then your largest size. So this is the medium size here. The other tool that we're going to need is a Torx socket or a Torx bit. So this is a little Work Pro kit. Again, I picked this up on Amazon, relatively inexpensive. I'd have to go back and look at the price, but definitely wasn't very much. And you can see this is pretty nice. So it has them already mounted on sockets for you, and it has all the different sizes of these Torx bits. And this is something I feel like is not very common. It's definitely something that I've never really had a set of these. You know, you don't see these too often. But again, you know, recently I've been trying to kind of just build up my tool collection, and just have some more of these kind of specialty tools, because you never know when you may need them. So, but this will actually be one job where I do need them. So I believe it's going to be a T30 Torx bit is the one that we'll need, which is this guy right here. So a T30. Let's see, hope you can see that. But yeah, it says T30 on there. But that should be the one that we need. And we're going to have to use that to, I believe, take off, I think they're called coil packs, to take those off so we can actually get to the spark plugs. But yeah, so that's it for tools, guys. So let's go under the hood. We've got our hood opened up. So you can see, here's the coil packs right here. So we're basically going to take each one of these off, and the spark plug is going to be down under that. So that's basically what we need to get to. I believe these coil packs are supposed to stay in the correct order. So that is something to pay attention to when you're doing this. You don't want to like switch these around or swap them up or anything. But yeah, I mean, it should be pretty straightforward. You know, on this motor, it's definitely nice that they're like literally right on top of the motor. So yeah, I mean, it makes it, you know, again, it should be pretty straightforward, pretty easy to do. First thing we need to do is disconnect these wires. So to do that, these little red things right here, those are actually little locks basically. So we need to pull the red thing back, and then we should be able to pull the connector off. Now, you can do this with your fingernail. Obviously, you need to be careful though, because you don't want to break your fingernail. So you basically just need to kind of get in between the red and the gray right here. So that's what I'm going to use this screwdriver for. Just going to stick it in there and kind of twist. And there you go, you'll see it slide back. And I'm going to go ahead and do that on each one while I've got the screwdriver in my hand. See if we can get to this last one without knocking the camera down. There we go. All right, so got all those done. Go ahead and throw our screwdriver back down. And then the other thing you have to do is you're going to push down right here. So right behind the little red thing is a part you actually push. So you'll push that in, and you're just going to pull out. There we go. Now these wires are supposed to be set to a certain length as well, so you can't really mix these up. Like, you know, this one won't reach all the way over there. And it'll be the same things on these others here. So that's supposed to help prevent you from putting them on the wrong place. But, you know, again, just kind of pay attention to where they go. And as long as you don't move them around a whole lot or do anything crazy with the wires, it shouldn't be a problem to put them back on. So there's the little wire thing. So I'm just going to kind of pull it up here. Just try to move it to the side for right now. All right, so that looks looking good so far. So now we need to get our Torx bit, our T30, to get that off. So I'm going to grab my socket wrench, grab just a little extension, and we're going to grab our Torx bit. Okay, and there's the first thing. So this Torx bit is actually a smaller socket. So instead of using the medium drive, it needs the smaller drive. So I'll run over to the toolbox. Most socket kits are going to come with this. This is basically a little converter that just converts from the medium size down to the smaller size. So we'll put that on our socket wrench. And then boom, there we go. All right, let's see. Tilt the camera up just a smidge here. Make sure you guys can see. All right. So on this particular socket wrench, it has an on-off. So again, makes it pretty easy to know which way to go. So obviously we're going to flip it to off because we're taking it off. We're going to stick it in there and just give it a twist. Again, that comes loose pretty easy. So there's our screw. Obviously, you need to be very careful with these. You don't want to lose them or misplace them or anything. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm actually going to grab just a little storage bowl here. This is actually one that goes on a pegboard, but I'm just going to grab that and set it in there. Again, just to make sure I don't lose anything. And I'll just set that over here to the side on the coolant tank. So once you get the screw out, it should just be a matter of lifting up. There you go. There's the coil pack. You see it just lifts straight up out of there. And then our spark plug should be down in the hole. So I think what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go ahead and just do these one at a time. And again, that's just to make sure I don't take a risk of mixing up the coil packs or anything. So for now, I'm going to take off my shorter extension with my Torx bit. And I know I'm going to need that again, so I'm just going to set that over to the side. Now I'm going to grab my long extension with my spark plug socket. Alright, again, we're still going to be on off. Got that all set up. So now we just want to go down in that hole. Again, carefully, and you'll feel it, you can kind of feel it like when it actually goes onto it. Again, you want to be very careful with these. This isn't something you want to strip out or anything. So I can feel now that it is on the spark plug. So I'm just going to make sure it's on off, and we'll give it a twist. There we go. I just feel it broke loose. Again, we're just going to turn it out. There we go. Now again, because of our socket, it did actually pull the spark plug out with it. So there's the plug. So I'm going to pull the plug out so we can take a look at it. So here's our spark plug. Yeah, it doesn't look very good. So you can see it's obviously got some corrosion on there. Yeah, it doesn't look that great. So let me go ahead and grab one of our new ones. Alright guys, so here's one of our new ones. So I'm just going to pull it out of the little package. So here's our new spark plug. So one thing you want to do is just kind of compare these two, make sure they are the same. And they do look like the same size and everything like that. Now the gap on these is supposed to be set to 0.43, I believe. So the way this little gauge works is it has these little numbers on there, you know, like 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. So to check the gap on this, you're just going to start on the small end. You're going to slowly turn this gap checker, and then when it starts getting tight or when it stops, you want to look and see where it's at. So I'm going to start turning this. Feels like it stops right about there. Alright, so you can see on my checker I'm right around the 0.4. So these look like these should be good. So and again, they're supposed to be pre-gap, so your spark plug should be correct. Now just as a reference, set that one down. Let's just check the gap on the old one and see how it's changed over the course of its life. So I'm going to start turning it. Alright, feeling pretty tight right there. Alright, so this old one is at 0.5, right? So the old one is definitely, the gap is a lot bigger than it should be. So, and again, that's something that kind of happens over the course of the life of the spark plug. So, again, tells us it needs to be replaced. Alright, so put it back in. We're going to load the spark plug into our socket, the new one. There we go. Now again, we're going to flip our socket wrench to on now. We're going to go down slowly. And again, you want to be careful at this step. You don't want to drop the spark plug or anything like that. And I'm just going to kind of turn it by hand at first. Actually, I think I'm going to take my socket wrench off here. And I just want to turn it by hand and make sure it starts threading correctly. Again, you don't want to force it. Like, it shouldn't be real hard to get it to start threading. And if you cross thread something into the motor, trust me, you're going to have a lot of problems. So again, I can feel it turning easily now. So I'm just kind of turning it with my hand right now until it gets tight. Alright, so at that point, now we need to go ahead and tighten it up. Alright, again, we don't want to over tighten it, guys, so definitely don't go too far on it. Alright, so that one's tight. So now we can take our coil pack. Again, we're just going to drop it back down in there. Just like that. We can grab our torque screw. And screw it back on. Alright guys, I'm going to switch back over to my Torx bit. Again, still we're going to be on for our socket wrench. And we're going to tighten it up. And again guys, keep in mind these little coil packs, these are all like plastic, so on those you definitely don't want to over tighten them or anything like that. So there we go guys, so we've got the first spark plug changed out. So obviously on the other three here, we're just going to be repeating that same process. So I won't put you guys through that, so I'm going to take a break on the video for just a moment. I'll get these other ones changed out, and then we'll come back and get the wires reconnected, start it up, and make sure everything works. Alright guys, welcome back. So just finished up. So again, I've changed the spark plug in each one. Got everything tightened up, got the coil packs put back on. So now we just need to plug our wires back in. So we'll start over here. Try not to block the camera. And again, you'll hear a little click when it snaps in all the way. Go ahead and do each one. Oh, and let's get our wire, go ahead and get our wire kind of tucked back down here where it was. There we go. There's the last one. And again, I'm just going to go back and double check, make sure all those are pushed in good. That looks good. Alright, so now we just need to lock our little red clips down again. Again, you can just do that with your fingers. So just push the red clip in until it clips, until it snaps. Bang, and there we go. So the spark plugs are changed. Hopefully she will be running good again. So, alright, so let's look at the old spark plugs real quick, guys. So I've laid them out here just so you can see all of them. So as you can see, they're all pretty dirty, pretty nasty. This one in particular here, it's got a lot of black on the end there. So again, you know, looking at the spark plugs, it doesn't surprise me why the car was running crappy, or, you know, why it was sputtering here and there. So again, you know, with these Jeeps, I mean, obviously there's a lot of Jeeps out there, a lot of popular ones. You've got your Jeep Patriot, your Jeep Compass. I mean, there's all kinds of Jeeps, you know, in this year model that have been really popular, you know, and I think good cars. I mean, I personally, I really like Jeeps. They've always been good cars for me, and I enjoy them. So keep that in mind, guys. So at least for the Patriot, at least you're supposed to change these spark plugs every 30,000 miles. So, you know, again, something I've neglected, and a lot of times it's something people do neglect. I mean, because if the car's running good, then, you know, why does it matter? Like, you know, most people aren't going to think about, hey, I need to change my spark plugs if the car's running fine. So, you know, it's one of those things, a lot of times you don't think about doing it until it happens, you know, until you start having problems. So, but anyway, so that's that, guys. So let me get these spark plugs out of the way. And then we're going to go ahead and start it up just to make sure everything sounds good. I'm actually going to be doing some more work on this thing, guys. I'm going to be installing a tow hitch as one of the projects coming up. Of course, then I'm going to have to install the wiring for towing as well. So that'll be another kind of adventure. So obviously with that, you know, I'm going to be getting down underneath the car and everything, so it should be interesting. But yeah, that'll be coming soon. So we're trying to get this thing tow ready and get it running good and all that stuff. So, but yeah, so let's put the camera down for a minute, guys, and we'll go ahead and start it up and see what we get. Oh, and definitely make sure you get all your tools out of your way before you start it. Obviously you can see I've checked, you know, all my socket wrenches are back over here in my little box here. Got my little storage thing off of there too. But definitely make sure all your tools, you know, are out of the engine compartment before you start the car. So, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and set it down. There we go. Let's grab the keys. So there we go, guys. Starts right up. I assume everything will be fine. I'm actually not going to go drive it or go drive around right now and test it because it's raining. So I'll find out the verdict, you know, the next time I really get out and drive it for a little bit. But I'm confident that we fixed it. I really am. Of course, if it didn't work or whatever, I'll make sure I add that to the video as well. But fingers crossed we took care of the problem. So, like always, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe, like, leave a comment. If there's something you'd like to see, if there's something I did wrong, you know, again, feel free to leave some feedback. I appreciate the input. And yeah, have a good one, guys. We'll see you on the next one.